No one likes Twitter. Twitter is trash. We all know this. It's not a hot take and it's not exactly brave. No one's going to sit there and like applaud me like, hey, Charlie's really finally saying what everyone else is too afraid to say. No. Everyone knows Twitter is probably the worst social media platform to ever exist. The more you engage with Twitter, the more likely you are to throw yourself into an oncoming train. But just like everyone else, I become a little zombie and check Twitter every now and then just to scroll through and see what's going on in the world and the people around me, what's going on with all of them. Twitter's a lot like my asshole. It's stinky and full of shit, but I can't help but play with it sometimes. And this morning I got up and I checked Twitter, and something just immediately made my day worse for having read it. Twitter is the real-life equivalent of the chapter black tape from Yu Yu Hakusho. This is an obscure, turbo weeb shit reference, but in Yu Yu Hakusho, there's something called the chapter black tape, which is just a collection of all of humanity's most horrifying moments. Just this phase montage of like war crimes and horrible, horrible shit. And when someone watches that tape, they begin to hate humanity and are convinced that they're not worth saving, that humanity doesn't deserve to survive. That's what Twitter is. But instead of like showing you horrifying crimes, it shows you horrifying takes and convinces you that the world is too stupid and humanity's not worth saving because we're too fucking dumb. This is the tweet that really greased my ass first thing this morning that I want to talk about. Hot take, but I feel once you've reached this level of wealth, maybe you should be using said wealth to benefit the impoverished and not use it to recreate a show that is a direct critique of the exact thing being done here, but hey, that's just me. This is in reference to MrBeast and his upcoming Squid Game video. This is not a hot take, this is a dumb take. This is what scientists call posting cringe on Maine. This is a stupid fucking statement. Squid Game, the actual show, cost $21.4 million to make. That money could have been used to help the impoverished in the community, but it wasn't. It was used for entertainment. Interesting. It decides to critique society while also participating in it. Very curious. It's critiquing something that it is directly benefiting from. Interesting. Why didn't they point that out in this tweet? The $21 million for Squid Game, the show, is a lot more than the $2 million MrBeast is spending. Why didn't they mention that? It's weird that they focused on MrBeast, who is well known for helping a lot of people through his videos and the money those videos make. What's interesting is, the Squid Game money and all that's generated for Netflix will never go to helping people, but MrBeast making this Squid Game video and the money that will make will directly go to food banks that MrBeast owns and helps people with. So they chose someone who is literally going to be helping people with the money the Squid Game makes, instead of the Squid Game itself, which was 10 times what MrBeast spent and will never help anyone in the community. And I'm not saying the Squid Game team has that obligation and they have to use the money in that way. I'm not here to control how they spend their money, but Twitter certainly is. This user seems to think it's MrBeast's responsibility to use his wealth in the Squid Game cost to help the community around him, but why isn't that responsibility also shared by the much more expensive actual Squid Game? It's also just a dumb nothing burger of a statement that can be used for literally anything ever. It boils down to MrBeast spent a lot of money on this video, which could have been used as a donation. You can say that for movies. Why do we even have movies when the money spent making those movies could have been used for a donation instead? Why do we have music when the millions spent producing those albums could have been used as a donation instead? The user that posted this might be married. Why did you spend $10,000 on a wedding ring when that could have been used as a donation instead? You don't need a $10,000 rock to prove you love someone. Why not just donate that money? It's just something that is silly and can be said for everything. Targeted at one of the only wealthy people in general who are constantly helping the community and people around him. I made a video recently talking about MrBeast. I'm not his fucking PR manager, but he's one of the only genuine wealthy people that are constantly doing everything they can to help other people. You only have to scroll 3 tweets on his Twitter to see this massive food drive he just did to help the impoverished and people around him. But I'm going to go ahead and again focus on the stuff he does off camera real quick, because a lot of people critique MrBeast saying he's only doing this for attention and views. They can't wrap their head around the idea that maybe he actually just likes to help people, so they just try and attack this made up idea of who he is. He's only doing it for views and attention. I'm again going to focus on his off camera stuff. I got to see that massive food warehouse, and that food warehouse also has a massive refrigeration unit that allows them to do more than just non-perishable canned goods. It allows them to do vegetables and cold products as well, and it's an extremely rare thing to have because it costs so much. But MrBeast went the extra mile with his food bank because he wanted it to be able to serve his community in the best possible way. And this is like a full-time job that he has, running that food bank. He also has that MrBeast's philanthropy channel. I sound like a fucking advertisement for this guy, but I really suck his dick hard because he is exactly the kind of wealthy person people have been begging for, and he's still getting shit for it. That MrBeast philanthropy channel, 100% of the revenue that makes and the brand deals all go into that food bank, which is serving his community. He is doing like millions of pounds worth of food to his community every month, and he is running this every single day, and he is still getting steamrolled by 12-year-olds on Twitter as if he's not doing enough. All of this being done off camera, and no matter what, it's a lose-lose situation on Twitter. If MrBeast shows these things, then people attack him for being a fake, he's a fraud, he's only doing it for attention and views, and if he doesn't show these things, well then they don't exist and everyone's lying, he's making it up. No matter what you do on Twitter, it is a lose-lose situation where no one will be pleased. Twitter's a platform that is only there to be negative, bully, and shit on things no matter what, because that's the most engagement. That huge fucking dopamine hit of the extra 5 hearts on your shit just makes that cock rock hard, baby. That's what makes me so mad on Twitter, is that no matter what you do, it's never enough, because Twitter's a platform that is just made to reward shitty takes and dunking on people, even when it's just completely wrong and misguided. People are just there on Twitter to bully each other, and they try and like out-perfect each other. So they use this idea of perfection, like in this take. If I had this millions of dollars, I would obviously be donating it to the impoverished, but I don't, so I'm not responsible to help anyone. It's MrBeast's problem, time to dunk on him. Now let me spread these cheeks a little bit further and dive in. The user who posted this awful take has 16,000 tweets on their account. That's a lot. I have like 300 hours total on Twitter scrolling, and I only have 2,500 tweets. So let's just go ahead and be really generous and say they have doubled the amount of time I've spent on Twitter. So they have 600 hours worth of Twitter scrolling. There is so much more you can do to help the community than just donate money. You could have spent that 600 hours volunteering at a shelter, helping out at your local food bank. You know, you could have donated your time to helping your community, but you didn't. You chose to whine and complain on Twitter for 600 hours. Why is it only MrBeast's responsibility to help the community? Don't you also have that obligation? You're choosing not to, and I'm very disappointed. You're taking this road, and it's not just this person. I'm singling them out because this is the tweet that really, it tilted me a bit. It had me fucking inting down mid lane. Like, it was actually pretty upsetting to read. Everyone wants a wealthy person who's extremely generous to the community and doing things to help the community. And we have that with MrBeast, and he is still getting shit for it. Blows my mind. But anyway, this user is not the only one that thinks this way. They all cast this facade that they are perfect. And if they were only rich, they would save humanity. But the thing is, they're not doing anything currently to show that. This user, who is getting upset at MrBeast for not doing enough, is also doing nothing. Even though there is so much more they can do than just donating money. Like I said, there is so much you can do that isn't just financial to help the community, and they're not doing it. So why the fuck are they gonna get mad at MrBeast, who is doing both time and money constantly for the community? He is not just blindly throwing money at charities that do nothing. He is making his own organizations that are extremely efficient at it. Like, what more could you possibly want? He is doing it full time, off camera, because he is genuinely just trying to help people. And he is still getting blasted on Twitter because he spent a lot of money on a Squid Game video, where the money from that Squid Game video will most likely directly go into his philanthropy, which will in turn help a lot of people, and still getting shit for it. Twitter is a platform that just keeps you stupid and makes you dumber every time you log on to it. Everything has to be negative, even when it's like a genuinely positive situation, for no fucking reason other than just some cheap engagement and internet updoots. This was a horrible take, and so many people retweeted it, commented on it like, yes, preach, this is what I've been saying, just donate the money instead of make a video out of it, come on. Like, it doesn't make any sense. They could say that for everything. Instead of making movies, why not just donate all the money that the movies would have cost? There's a pretty big brain idea. Why not just do that? Why don't musical artists just donate all of the money their concerts make to charitable organizations instead of spending money on terrible art to put in their home? That's a genuinely good question. The art that they buy is terrible. You might as well just get rid of that money instead of spend it on fucking Damien Hirst pieces. Point is, it's a stupid take. Like, this was a dumb tweet that a lot of people agree with, and I see this kind of thing all the time. And it's especially silly when it targets someone who is actually doing all of the things Twitter wishes people would do. MrBeast does everything that Twitter wants other rich people to do, and it's still not good enough for them. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about this because Twitter is and always will be and always has been an absolute dog shit platform. That's about it. So yeah.